Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have Boa Hancock versus BY Luffy. This is actually a very favorable match for Boa just because her having access to stuff like Pudding, Gravity Blade, and Red Rock, being able to bottom deck all of Luffy's combo pieces and also ripping his card advantage apart in his hand. It's just really detrimental. So let's see if this BY can handle the onslaughts of Boa. One thing to note is that this BY deck is the Kuzan variant, so I believe he's not running any aces in his deck. He opted to play more towards unfavorable matchups with his Kuzan tech. So first couple turns, just dropping a bunch of searchers, and then the Luffy ripping out his own life with the Flambe. But my 3-Dawn turn here, I decided to swing in 7 early on, just so the later stages of the game, all I'm gonna do is really develop board and not swing anymore. So just keeping him at 2 life is pretty good for us because it means that he has to invest a lot to try to get his combos going. So he actually swings in with his Flambe. Not the worst for us going down to 4 life, just because BY Luffy does like to ramp up and play it slow, and Boa loves being able to make it to the late game. So here I drop the Jinbei into Doflamingo, just trying to see if I can find any top end, but I don't, so I just put the rest on the bottom, getting rid of his Flambe and passing turn here. 6-Dawn turn for BY Luffy, dropping the Hiyori down, adding a probably Luffy, to the top of his deck, and Luffy effect pumping his leader up to 7 and bringing out a Space Luffy here. So excuse me, with his leader pumped up to 7, I believe he swung 7 at life. I didn't want to give him cards in hand just yet, so thought that was a pretty free Luffy block there, or Dofi block on the swing. So he passes with 2 Dawn remaining, and then I use this opportunity to just put him in the same board state where I use the Gecko to grab Doflamingo back to my hand, and then just playing him out with the remaining 3 mana. And it looks like I have the pieces that I want in those top 5, and so I leave it on top, rearranging that for the future turns. Now BY Luffy going into his 8-Dawn turn. Not too threatening here, we're still at 4 life, so we're really healthy, but him finding a Sabo here means that we probably won't be able to pressure him super hard, and he does have a pretty large grip in his hand, so let's see what he's going to do with the rest of his Dawn here. Probably just gonna attach 3 to his leader and swing for 8 if I was to guess, and that's exactly what he does here. Probably eating another Dofi blocker. No reason for me to give up resources yet. So here I just play the patient game, dropping down another Dofi blocker, rearranging the top 5 once again, and then stunning his Sabo with my Boa. So Boa's nice because she actually sets up for Gravity Blade really well. So BY Luffy dropping only 1 body down, it's not really ideal to use Gravity Blade just yet. And so I was hoping that Boa stopping the Sabo from doing anything next turn would incentivize him to play down another character, which he does. playing down the Kuzan, drawing a card, and then using the rest of his Dawn to drop the Sabo there. So we're feeling pretty good here. 5k swing at life. Probably just gonna eat one counter here. Losing one card is not too bad per swing. So I didn't want to commit my Dofi blocker just yet. So here I dropped the Kaido down. I could have honestly gravity bladed here, but because he's at 1 life still, I didn't feel too pressured since he can't full combo anyways just yet. So I decided to drop the Kaido down, putting pressure on him to either get rid of him or he has to block her up as much as possible, which I would just bottom deck anyways. So here, dropping down the Garp, finding a baby Sabo. And then using another mana to trigger a Flampe, ripping the last life. He does have a really large grip right now, and he does also swing in with the Kuzan, subtracting the Kaido by 5 or 4, and then him dropping the Ice Age tells me that he's probably just gonna space Luffy my Kaido here. So this is kind of perfect for us because with the Kuzan vulnerable like that, we're able to just swing in at that Kuzan and try to get cards out of his hand. And this must feel really bad for the BY Luffy here because he had only 1 adult to work with off of his leader ability. He's only able to pump his leader up to 7 here, which means that even with a gravity blade, I'm able to swing in pretty heavily. So I think here's a really good opportunity to gravity blade because he's at 0 life now. I want to get as many cards as I can out of his hand before he full combos. So with 3 Dawn up, I think I just poke in at the Kuzan to see if he'll give me any cards. And he actually does, which is good for us. So he gives me 1k and a 2k. But here I don't want to mess around with the Kuzan anymore. And so I swing in 11 at 7. Which means he has to ditch at least 3 cards if he wants to get out of this one. So really good. We were able to get 5 cards out of his hand that turn. So even if he does full combo, doesn't have that many resources left to deal with our hand here. But swinging in 5 at life with the Kuzan, I drop the 1k counter, and then him reducing the Boa by 4 tells me that he's just going to pump his leader up and pop my Boa there. And he's swinging at board, which is good for us. Here I could have just counter checked him and swung 15 at life. I didn't want to risk it, so I took the safer play and swung in 5 at his Kuzan, just forcing a card out of his hand or just giving us the Kuzan, and then swinging in or dropping the Kaido down to reload so that he can't kill us even if he tries to crack back this turn. So yeah, Kaido being such a strong card in this matchup, honestly in the Anel matchup too. I really like the draw Kaido because he's not conditional in a sense that a lot of leaders, by the time you drop the 10 cost Kaido, will have 3 or less life. And so just being able to draw 4 is such a resource replenishment, and you're just able to take over the game from there. So just like that, he swings in super heavy. I was able to counter out of the 8k. I didn't want to give him 3 cards just yet, unless he commits more. But him dropping down another Gecko means that he's going to full combo one more time. Yep, and then it's not going to be able to do too much on our board, which is good for us. All I have to do is bottom deck his Sabo and then just swing the rest with my Kaido here. I think he's deciding what to filter, but him thinking that long makes me think that he doesn't have just like a bunch of raw counters to work with. And he did pitch a Makino, which is really important to note, because if I just commit after bottom decking Sabo, it's really unlikely that the rest of his cards are just all 2Ks. So looks like that should be the end of his turn. He does pop the Space Luffy though. Space Luffy popping the Sengoku. I think that's the right play, just to draw as many cards as possible. But with so many resources left in my hand, I decided to just go for it anyways, because next turn I have so much counter in hand, he won't be able to kill me anyways. And so I drop the Gravity Blade, get rid of the blocker, swing in for 15, and it looks like that's more than enough to end it there. So thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe to support the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.